Welcome everyone to a special edition of Teaching Crypto as AZcrypto with my partner MrFOMO on a beautiful Friday night. Guys, we would love you to subscribe. We want to get as many subscribers as possible. Please hit that like button. MrFOMO, the market has done a little bit better than we anticipated. So some positive news. We talked last week about getting above 35K and kind of maintaining that. We've done that. And tonight we're actually pushing 38. Now, we talked about this a little before we went on the air. The sentiment is kind of mixed. We have some people that are very bullish that next week we're going to turn the corner. We're going to get by the resistance, which is said to be 39.6, go up to 40 and have a leg up. We got other people that are saying, hold on, this is a temporary pump. We're going to come back down to 30, maybe 29, 28, and we're going to be in this for several months. It's just interesting because normally a lot of the people are on the same page. But right now, we have a lot of divergence, a lot of differences. So what's your opinion right now? What's going on?
Well, I think a lot of people are getting out ahead of things. First of all, I don't think that we're going to see a major war anytime soon. I think that you've got Vladimir Putin, and this is a lot of my own conjecture, so take it with a grain of salt. But I think, being former KGB, I think he's up to something somewhere else, that he wants you distracted on the edge of Ukraine, and he knows that that's a sore spot for the US and NATO. He's up to something else somewhere else. Then it's a distraction campaign, and it's working. But I don't think you'll see a major war. I don't think it works out for anybody. It doesn't benefit anyone in the end. So I think diplomacy will win out, and you'll see the markets rebound. But I don't think really the markets are paying too much attention to what's going on there anyway.
What about the inflation and the rates going up? Now we're kind of sitting. We're not going up, but we could go back in March. You don't think that uncertainty could kind of stall us here?
Well, here's what I think on that one. I think that Jerome Powell's got to walk a tightrope because he works for the Democrats right now. And in order for the Democrats to keep the majority in the midterms, they're going to have to, hold on, I'm trying to get this out of here. They're going to have to not make any noise. If interest rates start going up, if people start having to pay more and more, they're already mad about inflation. So you start sending interest rates through the roof, you're going to have more of a problem getting people reelected. And so I think the people he works for are going to keep that quiet. And if he does raise in March, it's going to be something real small again. And again, I think that interest rate raise is already priced in.
So I gotta lock my door here, but we want to give the listeners some locks here. Tell us something. It might not be a quick flip. I don't know if we want to call this a quick flip Friday. It might be like a dip your feet into the water, flip Friday. Because I'm going to give a couple coins myself. And I'm looking at these as a several month play, just because me personally, I'm still hesitant about February. But go ahead and give your picks. You've got some strong opinions about some coins you think our listeners and viewers should be aware of.
I honestly think that right now in the market, you could pretty much throw a dart, and you're going to hit, if we see that recovery that I think we're going to see in February. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a monster recovery, but if we recover, you're going to see all of the altcoins recover right along with Bitcoin.
So, major altcoin, right?
I think everything will pump a little bit. I mean, I think we're starting to get to a point in the market where utility is going to win out. And so you'll see things that maybe aren't that useful won't pump as much. But I think across the board with, the top 100, I don't think that, I'm not looking way down the list. But
we had some projects from the summer that didn't really recover at all. We talked about
no, I'm talking about in the top 100, the coins with utility. I think you're going to see a move right along with Bitcoin when we recover in February. But for me, I like two coins that I haven't really talked about before. Well, one with you, I think, but Gala Games is the one that I think I would try and get a little bit out of. For me, looking around at the exchanges, what's available, what's readily available, Coinbase, Voyager, places like that. Gala to me is one of the most important gaming companies that has the smallest market cap. I think it's around almost 2 billion. They're doing, I think, 300 million in volume in the last 24 hours. And priced around 19, I'm not crazy about it, but if it gets down to 18, I think that you're starting to get into that range where you can snap it up. And I don't think you'll see a 100x out of it. But if you can get that thing up to 23, 24 cents, you can make a decent return out of it. You can flip it around and beat inflation.
We're in gaming, and gaming crypto traditionally, at least the past year, has done really well, and it's done really well on recovery. And since that's a low market cap, it won't take that much to bring it up.
Right.
Not a bad point.
To be honest with you, I view gaming. I mean, people are addicted to games the way they're addicted to things like crack. You know what I mean? Like, they have to play games. People always play games. Adults play games. And so, I mean, it's next to investing in crack sales, really. I mean, not that you would do that, but I mean,
so we got a dark. We got, not only is your background dark, we got some dark material tonight.
But these, people are going, it's something that people want to be involved in, no matter, if you're a man, woman, you're old, you're young, people love gaming. It's not like supply chain or DeFi or something like that. This kind of runs the gamut. So I think gaming is a safe thing to get into.
I'm going to give the listeners and viewers one here. Luna Terra is down to 51. Earlier today, ladies and gentlemen, we went all the way down to 47. Luckily, I sold a while ago, and I'm getting back in at some point. I really think I am here. The question is, Luna does amazing when the market goes back up. When the market struggles, it'll go down with it. We went from 20 to 4 in the summer, went all the way up, listen to this, to 10364. I mean, Luna's been a monster. Even right now, with the price is not doing well, we got a 1.7 billion 24-hour volume. It's a very popular coin because it does print stable coins. It burns like crazy. There are some days where over 1 million Luna is burned. I feel like this is too big not to recover. And so the tough billion-dollar question is, it's going to be hard to time. Because if we, let's say, have a bad month in February, which I still personally think is in play, I think there's just a lot of fear. And when there's a lot of fear, sometimes there's a lot of manipulation. So I could see this being like, people get excited. We just almost get to 40. And then boom, we go all the way back down to 30, 29. People panic. You get these amazing bottom prices. And then the market recovers. And then everyone is euphoric because you have these amazing prices. But if we start recovering now, getting into Luna now makes a lot of sense. And I was watching some of my Twitter feed, and a lot of people were really pushing Luna. Again, myself, I'm a little hesitant to jump in. But if you DCA, we need to talk about this with our viewers. If you put a little bit in now, even if it goes down to 35 or 30, you're not dead, because you've only put in, let's say, 10% of what you planned to do. I mean, I would not recommend anyone go all in tonight. Not financial advice. But if you go all in tonight, and 3 weeks from now, BTC is sitting at 32K for whatever reason, you just don't know. Your $51 Luna is not going to look great because it might be at 28 or 29 or 30. But if you go in a little bit now and it slowly goes up, you're going to be fine, right? If your average is 57, 58, it goes up to 100. It could. That's the thing about Luna. If we get a full recovery, an actual leg up, like we did over the summer, it's going to go over 100, no doubt. The mathematics, the fundamentals are there. Again, this is all predicated on BTC. So everyone has to take that. We're not guaranteeing Luna is going to go to 100. But it's hard for me to see if BTC does recover and we do have another leg up and we're not in a bear. Luna today at 51, you're going to look back 2 months and say, wow, when it's over 100. Now, again,
those tokenomics, I think we should talk a little bit more about that, because those tokenomics are extraordinary. I mean, the tokenomics alone make it almost a must buy once the market turns around.
Supply is constantly being dwindled aggressively too. It's not like they're burning a couple hundred tokens. They're burning several. And the Luna is being used the ecosystem of Luna has just blossomed like no other since the summer. I mean, their volume, they used to be a low cap, then they were a mid cap. At one point this week, they were third behind ETH in market cap for crypto.
Yeah.
So they dropped down behind Solana, but they are now above Cardano and Avalanche even. I don't know where
I don't
BTC
know.
is.
You have to be careful when you talk about Luna versus BTC, because Luna is going to recover before BTC. Remember, people are going to tether up, and as people tether up, you've got Luna going through the roof. And so the tokenomics of Luna almost make it that canary in the coal mine that lets you know, hey, people are about to start purchasing. It's time to get going.
Yeah,
It's
if you
one of
follow
those
Luna,
that you
sometimes
want
you
to
can.
have before it starts to recover, because when the recovery starts, Luna is going to be one of the first ones to pop.
If Luna goes up, let's say to 65 next week, and BTC is not yet over 40, that's a sign that people have some confidence in the market. For me, I think a lot of retail is scared to jump back in until 40. 40 is kind of that psychological number. If we could break 40 and stay above it for several days, I think sentiment will automatically change.
And that's so weird, isn't it? They're like,
yeah.
I'm not going to buy it until it gets back above 40. What are you doing?
It's psychological, right? It's like because 32 scared everyone. At 32, we had a lot of those YouTubers calling for 20, the same ones that were calling for 100K a week ago, and that's a whole other issue.
That's the thing. It kind of shows you that people who make those kind of predictions week in and week out, or day in and day out. I mean, you've seen the memes and stuff on Twitter where they show yesterday this is what he was saying, today this is what he's saying, or a year ago today this person was calling for.
My favorite one you found was a year ago. BitBoy was predicting 200,000 ETH.
Yeah, whatever he was predicting, it would have had ETH going to a $3 trillion market cap.
No, it was 200,000 ETH. Are you ready for 200,000 ETH? So, and and he's not the only one. People are calling.
No, I know, and people give him a hard time, but yeah, most people made their careers on YouTube out of that kind of stuff.
And we're not going to do that. But again, I think 100 is very reasonable if we do recover. And again, here's the thing. We could be going sideways for a while. That's another. We talked about being a bear, getting a leg up. We can have something in the middle. You got to be willing to take profit. So if you get a 10, 15, 20% jump on Luna and BTC is still kind of struggling, well, if you get your 20%, still a nice gain. Again, we got to play the market.
Inflation.
We got to play the market here, and the market, whatever the market gives us, we got to take. There's no guarantee. I hope your scenario plays out and we really do go up in February, but there is no guarantee that magically we're going to see a 50K BTC anytime soon. I hope so, but we'll just have to see what happens.
And yeah, a lot of that stuff is just gambler's logic, and like you said, people using it for clickbait. There is no telling, but the idea is that one day it's going to be worth a whole lot because the technology is just too great.
You got another one to give our viewers today that, again, this could be quick flip, but really we're thinking a little more long-term in terms of months and weeks because of the uncertainty of the market. Go ahead and give it to us.
I like AMP. It's a liquidity token. It's a small market cap. You can get it on Coinbase. It is what it does is it provides quick liquidity. If you've got that lag time between your purchase and the actual payoff, they provide the liquidity in AMP, and then come back later and fulfill the order with whatever crypto it was supposed to be filled in. That way, businesses can move their money or make purchases more quickly once they receive those funds. It takes that lag time out of the market. But AMP at 3 cents, and if it dips even a little lower, for me, I would sell it around 5 cents. And just there from 3 to 5 cents, you're getting what, 66%, 60% out of that.
No, it is actually on Voyager now too.
Yeah, and so you've got it easily available to you. It's a great project. It's a great idea to speed up liquidity, or to speed up that the transfer of the funds, and to get it at 3 cents and to be able to get, for most of the time that I've seen it, it's been sitting at 5 cents or maybe even coming up to 6 cents. And so for me, it's one of those ones you could snap up, and I think it can make a move pretty quickly and give you a nice return.
Yeah, it just actually dipped a little below 3 cents as you were talking.
Nice.
So not bad. And again, if you think the market's going to recover, some good choices. I'm going to give the listeners one I think is more long term, but today, as I looked at this morning to talk on the show, it's almost gone up 5% now. So it's got some momentum. I'm talking about Avalanche here. Now, Avalanche started the day at 61, and we're up to 67.42. Good sign. Volume is starting to pick up, 368 million. We got a 26 billion market cap, so it's not we're a mid cap to a high cap here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you know, but even though there's not a max supply right now, the circulation is only 397 million. Mm-hmm. And there's burns, not as much as Luna, but there is burning. And the Avalanche ecosystem is gigantic. It's growing every day. If you don't know, there are plans to move all the Voyager projects on Avalanche. There is some major funding from very high-end billionaires into Avalanche too. That's one that a lot of people feel pretty good about. Everyone brings up an ETH killer, and I think they use that term too often. But a competitor, I feel, in the future is going to be Avalanche. And we're sitting right now, we're sitting in the 60s. So if you want a DCA, like I said, I would be cautious going in right now. But our all-time high was 146. I think it'd get higher than that personally if there was a full recovery. Mm-hmm. So at 67 again. I think what you're doing here, I like to give some safe things that I know for sure if the market does any type of recovery, you're going to see Avalanche and Luna go up. So that's the thing. We could be giving you guys the 567th coin on CoinMarketCap, but guess what? That might not ever come back. There are some coins. I was talking to my friend on the phone earlier. He was talking about there are some coins that have just never returned. And he had a friend, he had bought a coin in the summer that, we were down and he was expecting to come up and never recovered. It's literally in the trash. Mm-hmm. Because we have thousands of coins here. So for me, especially if you're going to, invest some of your hard-earned money, I want to be somewhat safe. And I feel safe with those two in these situations. Yeah. Because if the market somehow reverses, let's say, we're going up to 40 and all of a sudden you feel uneasy and you feel like a dump is coming or starting. You should be able to get out of those and still have a little bit of profit. I think if you as long as you
remember, even if the market keeps going up, it's not going to go straight up or at a 45-degree angle. It's going to make that, like mm-hmm. Willie Woo said, it's going to take that drunken walk up. And so it's going to go up, it's going to retrace, it's going to go up, it's going to retrace. There will be re-entry points. And so, just like you're looking at this market now, this horrible dump that we've had over the last, 6 or 7 weeks, you're looking at it now, this will come around again. You'll see this again. You'll see another fall.
Oh yeah. We're never going straight up to 100, 200,000. It's never going to happen.
So when you have that idea of that drunken walk, it makes it a little less uneasy to get in and out of the market. And a lot of people are going to say, well, if I get in and out of the market, I'm going to have to pay capital gains tax. Well, if you don't get in and out of the market, you're not going to have any profits to pay taxes on. So if you're paying taxes, that means you're making profits. So,
well, yeah, we have to remind our viewers, Avalanche was 11 over the summer, went up to 140. Luna was 4, went up to 104. So those two have a history. History doesn't always repeat, but it's sometimes as good. And those two have a good history of really bouncing back. They're stronger projects now than they were over the summer.
And those are, like you said, those are huge projects, strong projects.
I feel comfortable in those. And mm-hmm. Here's the thing, tell our viewers, let's say we do have a bad February and those go down even more. The market's coming back at some point where crypto is not dead. So you park a little bit of money slowly in UCA in those two projects. And let's say they're much lower than they are today, a month from now. You're eventually going to be very happy. It might take weeks. It might take months. It might take, worst case, over a year. But eventually, you're not financial advice. You slowly DCA into Avalanche and Luna at the bottom or close to the bottom. Eventually, you will be very happy. So that's why I wanted to give our viewers those, because I was 1 for 2. I wish I had gotten both over the summer. But those were two coins we actually looked at over the summer. Pulled the trigger on one, did not on Avalanche, and really highly regretted it, unfortunately. I even remember telling you, hey, if Avalanche, it was at 11, and I said, if Avalanche goes any lower, don't you have to buy this token? I remember having that conversation, but I didn't get it.
Yeah,
So
I didn't get it all the way until like 60 something, and then wrote it up and then sold it. So, but yeah, it's a fun game to play because there's a lot of different projects out there. And one thing I wanted to mention that I learned on the VGX Heroes podcast. Shout out to the heroes. Luna this summer, you could have bought it at $4, right? Well, there's this idea called looping, where you could have bought Luna. They would have paid you a percentage. They weren't charging a percentage to take out a loan against your Luna. They would have paid you a percentage to take out a loan against your Luna. You could have taken out a loan against your Luna and then reinvested that loan that you took out in something like Near Protocol, and you would have made 19% on Near while being paid to take out that loan and having your Luna go from 4 to 100 and something. And so that can tell you a little bit about all the wild things that you can do in these DeFi projects like Luna and AVAX. Those are two really good picks. I really like those a lot.
Well, we got a very exciting February coming. We're supposed to getting the new VLP for VGX, and we're going to leave you some great news. And this is, bullish for the future. Arizona, one of the legislation today that came out that's not, obviously it's not law, but they wanted to make Bitcoin legal tender. Got a long way to go, but you never thought you'd hear. We've heard this week that BTC was a matter of national security. There are states now that are thinking about making it legal tender. They can't, but we've come a long way from, this is all a hoax. Even a year ago, you'd mentioned crypto and Bitcoin, people would say you're wasting your time. It's all a fraud. And now it's a matter of national security. States want to make it legal tender. So we've come a long way. The point I'm trying to make is we will recover at some point. Even if February goes horribly wrong, even if March goes horribly wrong, we will recover. We will be on the show to give you guys guidance. Hopefully you guys will come up with us.
And remember this, if you're here now, if you're watching this show, if you're involved in the market, you're still way early. I went out to dinner tonight and I had people that were sort of laughing at me when I talked about it. And that still lets you know that you're way, way, way early in this. I think, what are we talking? Maybe 10% of the United States has even thought about investing in crypto. These polls come out all the time, so the numbers are weird, but 1% or 3% of the world is invested in crypto. You're in the top percentage. It's like getting a perfect score on the SAT right now. You're a genius. So even if you're
plenty of time to make
one day you'll be back.
Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends, family, and neighbors. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
See ya.